Been hearing lately people bringing up your 5,000 or high RPM launch on the DSGs that's seen more on lower horsepower builds. Can you explain why you gave us the option to launch that high in the RPM range?
Because you have the option to do it. There are a myriad of different setups out there. Tons of different traction setups, tons of different vehicles with varying, like I said, varying power levels. So like a stage one car on some really sticky tires on a prep surface, you can get away with launches that are much higher than some on the street, and you've got like a full, like fully built, 2+ car, ported everything, all the power, all the torque down low. There's no way you're going to stick that power down, but you had the option for whatever your setup is and whatever your traction is to set it how you want. Now, it's up to you guys. You got the power to choose. So.
Yeah. Well, but the reason is because for some people it is a faster launch.
Yeah. Yep.
And like the question identified correctly, in lower horsepower builds where you need more inertia and momentum from the drivetrain to keep the tires spinning.
Yep.
And to prevent the motor from bogging. That's why you use a higher RPM.
Yeah. But no, I mean you'll notice when you start it up, it defaults to 2,500. That's kind of it's a little spicy for some of the bigger power setups, but it's right in the meat of where you want to be for the average stage 1, stage 2 setup. So, we don't,
But if you do bog at lower RPMs,
Yeah.
then you're going to want to continue to raise the RPMs until the engine doesn't bog anymore.
Yep.
Conversely, if you have the world's torquiest engine, say an electric vehicle, well, not electric vehicles because they don't have
You don't have to clutch on those.
Let's say you have a diesel something that produces 1,000 foot-pounds of torque at 1,500 RPM, then you literally would not launch. I mean, you would just try to release the clutch as gingerly, as low in the RPM as possible, because as soon as you get on the throttle, you're just going to boil the tires off. So a good launch is balancing between spinning the tires and bogging the motor. And the sweet spot is when the tires are barely spinning, just a little bit. You might hear like a couple like
Scrum. Yeah.
That means you're at maximum adhesion and traction between the tire and the road surface, and then the motor doesn't bog, right? So if your launch RPM is 2,500 RPM, you don't want the RPMs to drop much below that point as the engine starts to accelerate, and ideally you want the engine to accelerate rapidly. The faster the engine accelerates while you have traction, the faster the car accelerates.